You're also you're also a visiting fellow in the Department of Engineering Sciences at the University of Oxford. You work as a data scientist in your company, FinLabs, FEYN,
Mhm.
and you also conduct courses in the London School of Economics, University Dad Polit. Now I am gone there, so it's a Spanish word. So politics, University of Politics in Madrid.
Yeah,
Is that so?
UPM.
Yeah,
That's fine. I mean, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and it's the Future Society at the Harvard Kennedy School
Yeah.
of Government. You come with lots of accolades and
Oh, thank you.
names, alliance with big names. You're working on writing. This is very commendable. You've been listed as the top 30 influencers for Internet of Things for 2017. So
Okay,
that's
sure.
remarkable. And
Good.
so, without much ado, we'll go to you
Okay.
first, Ajit. You have to
Yeah.
leave probably early. So, what we'll
Yes.
do is we'll take the questions after every panelist so that it becomes more interactive. And you're going to talk about future of
Perfect.
it,
Yeah.
not
Very
really
good.
its application as much as what is going to happen in the technical world of
Yeah.
AI. Thank
Good. Thank you. Thank you very much, Roxana, for inviting me. Hello, everybody. So great to be here. So I'm going to share my slides. Is that okay? You can hear me, correct? Yes.
Yeah,
Very good.
absolutely.
Okay. So I will share my slides now, and let's see how this works. Hopefully, she will be fine. So now I'm here. So you should see my slides. You see my slides? Yes.
Yeah.
Very good, excellent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the presentation and then we'll take some question and answers. Yes. So I have a very unique background and I'm going to present as Oxford, which is my main affiliation when it comes to AI. This is my LinkedIn profile. And I won't go too much into my introductions. We already talked about a few things. Most of my work at Oxford is very, very technical. I also have a startup or a spin off based on what I'm doing at my work at Oxford. And also, I'm involved in a number of other companies and startups worldwide. So, I'm not a pure academic, especially in AI. We are working so close to industry because it is moving very, very fast. And this is something I will share with you going forward. This presentation, I have not made it technical, correct? Because I think this is a broad audience and we want to sort of get people really interested in where it's going with the future of AI. So I was in the White House last year on a particular project to look at AI and the future of AI. And some of that I'm going to talk about here today. And what I want to say to you is that the challenges people have at every level, whether they are senators or whether they are European Parliament members or whether they are students or whether they are employees, I see the same questions over again in different ways, and they involve basically jobs, skills, employment, and what would the future of AI look like. And what I did in this particular case was we looked at how AI would look like over the next 2 decades. Now, this is not a hypothetical exercise. It's something which I did with a number of colleagues, number of industries, speaking to senators, and also in the European Parliament, for whom I actually did this work. So it was more looking at a broader innovation perspective of AI, but also looking at the socio-economic conditions of AI. So it is not only about technology, and this is the important part, because if you look at something like AI as a pure technology, you miss half the impact of it. So, of course, the technology is moving very fast, but it also a direct social and economic impact, which is what we're going to talk about. So, this is again me in the European Parliament talking about these things. As you know, there's a lot of work done in the European Parliament in terms of the AI Act. And again, I'm very familiar with some of those things with that. So this was the report we published as a part of the European Parliament. This is the member of European Parliament called Pilar del Castillo, who I work with very closely on that. So what I want to share with you is this particular thing, and this is something which you should remember. That the bit I'm trying to say to you is that AI will not take your job, but people who know how to use AI will. And this, if you take one thing from my talk, I think it should be this: the fact that the media gets so confused about AI and makes it such a very confrontational thing. But for me, it's something very straightforward. It's a tool. It's a tool to help you to become better. And of course, it is going to impact jobs. But if you have to think, what will it do for yourself, for your children, for your institution, for your school, then what you got to think about is that how can you make use of it, correct? And this is exactly how I positioned it exactly in the European Parliament, and also in the sort of the United States delegations there as well, because there's no point talking about science fiction, correct? So we can talk about the sort of the Terminator type scenario where something comes and takes over everything and stuff like that. That is perhaps it's a hypothetical scenario, but for most people, the reality is much more straightforward. It's me, my job, my country, my socioeconomic area, bias, freedom of expression, and things like this. So it's the details like that which affect your life as opposed to something very hypothetical. And I always say that the way AI is going is something very very different. And I give this in a very simple example. This is if I look at this Greece, this is a holiday to Greece. If I say that I want to book a holiday to Greece, what would AI do? The future of AI is based on reasoning. So the future of AI is based on the idea that I give AI a broad problem, such as booking a holiday to Greece. AI then goes and splits this problem into subcomponents and then automatically reasons and then executes the whole problem. Now, this is very, very important because this is actually not there today, correct? So, when people look at ChatGPT or something like this is the sentence completion aspect of it. And sentence completion is a very simple thing. It looks very powerful, but what it is doing is relatively simple. What is coming is far more complicated. So, if you think about this sort of a problem statement that I tell AI that I give it a high level problem of abstraction and then let AI figure out how to solve it and how to semi autonomously execute the solution. Now, obviously, there are some challenges in this. So, obviously, that you don't want to trust AI to do everything. You have to have a human intervention in the solution. This is the general trend. And when you look at it like this way, you can see that the impact of AI is yet to be fully felt, even if it is heavily felt today. And this is the vision behind that. So another thing is that the governments are making a huge impact. Now, I do not know specifically about the government in your countries, but I can tell you that if you look at the British government, if you look at the UAE, this is from the UAE, every country basically is trying to invest very heavily into AI, and they call it by various names. They call it sovereign AI or whatever. But this is an important part. And then there is a bit about personalized agents. So the vision of AI in the future is that everybody will have their own personalized assistant, and this assistant will be able to help you uniquely in your task. And this is where it's the sort of the world is going. And this is a very disruptive world, correct? So if you do not embrace this world, I think that you will be seriously left behind. And this is the main message I'm trying to share with you, is that not to be afraid of it, but rather to sort of embrace it in a more optimistic and a positive way, especially for the future of your own jobs and also the future of your children's work. So this is the idea with that. Now, why is this happening, correct? So the first thing is that the rate of change with AI has dramatically increased. And you can see that everywhere. You don't need me to tell you this, but all of us are very aware of where AI has brought us. Then the second thing is we tried to say how AI would look like over the next 15 years. And we identified three things which are extremely important. The first one is the ability of AI to understand natural language. And this was actually the solution which ChatGPT was able to achieve. It was able to effectively work directly with natural language. And the moment it did that, a whole group of tasks became possible and a whole group of jobs became redundant. Correct? So if you think about it, translation, so many of these tasks which are directly done by ChatGPT now, excuse me, were not possible were not AI to be able to understand human language. And the second thing is the ability of AI to reason. I already shared some of that with you to say what that would mean in terms of the reasoning ability of AI. The third is bipedal autonomous robots. This means robots which walk on two legs and are semi-autonomous. So this is the sort of thing which Elon Musk and others have been talking about. So, and this is the future, correct? So we understand language. This is what AI is doing. We understand reasoning. This is yet to come, and we understand bipedal autonomous robots. What to focus on? So, excuse me. So, what I'm going to talk to you about, what are the things which we could focus on, and they include research methods. So, what I say is that you are researchers, the future of AI to impact research or fundamental science is extremely high. So, this is one thing to focus on. The second one is big systemic problems like climate change, which can only be solved with the help of AI. So, this is the second part. And of course, regulation is getting quite interesting. I think there are many positive things about regulation. People complain about it, but there are some things which are absolutely needed in society, and that is where you will look at EU AI Act and other things as well. And then there is a meaning of human AI collaboration. What does it mean for humans and AI to work together? And this is the fundamental problem. This is the fundamental opportunity, the risk, and the challenge is what exactly does it mean when humans and AI are able to collaborate with each other? There's a whole bunch of stuff around defense and autonomous robots, which I won't go into, but just to be aware that this is real, correct? So this is also something which is happening. And how will jobs change due to AI? So the first thing is that generative AI will add a lot of jobs. There's no doubt about this. And this is the report from McKinsey, which we quoted. The problem is it's going to take away a lot of jobs as well. And this is the challenge you've got to understand. And this is the way you've got to understand how you can work with these things and go with that. What skills would you have to learn when it comes to AI? The first one is actually the good news is that AI makes life a lot easier for a lot of people. So I think when Ruxana talked about low code, we are extremely positive that we are trying at Oxford University ways for domain experts to learn AI using AI itself. So if you look at prompt engineering and some of these things, so this really empowers people who are not developers, not coders, to be able to learn and develop AI. And we feel that this is one of the very, very positive things in AI, that it is not just taking away things, but if you are happy to embrace it. And especially I talk to young people, I think that this is the good thing for young people. If you are sort of even doing a non-computer science degree, you can actually pick up a lot of AI using these low code techniques with that. And then Jensen Huang talked about this idea, the CEO of AI, who talked about AI assisted coding, which is exactly what we are talking about as well. So we at Oxford are working very strongly in this particular area to understand how AI can help you learn coding and learn AI itself, which for us is one of the biggest opportunities to empower people and get them working with that. And then, of course, AI can assist in any job as an assistant. And then I also talk about universal basic income. So I think these are the things which will be needed. There will be needed support from society for these things. So it's not. I mean, it will be quite a serious thing for most people. Finally, before I conclude, I just want to share with you because I have shared my slides with Roxana, so I'm happy that she shares with you. I just want to go through some definitions. I won't go through them now, but it's very important to understand these definitions. The main reason is because people are so sort of impressed by the science fiction aspect of it, that you must remember that each of these terms have a very specific technical meaning, which you must also understand to really make up your own mind for AI. So the thing I like to say in the end is that this is the two things. The first thing is that don't think about AI as taking your job. Think about how you can use AI to do your job better. And the second thing I say is to think for yourself, correct? To as a researcher or as a student, to make up your own mind, to do your own studies, to look at your own analysis, and then to figure out how you can make the best use of AI. So thank you very much for inviting me, and we look forward to staying in touch with you. If you're in Oxford anytime, please let us know. Hopefully we can catch up with something with that. that. So I shall
Absolutely.
now stop sharing my screen, and I can take questions if you wish.
Okay. If there are no questions, I see in the chat at least. Excellent. Ali Raza Sayed from University of, I think, technology. I think it mechanic, I don't know, engineering and technology. UMT, I'm sorry for being so ignorant. Is IoT and AI two different domains or one complementing? That is right in your bag, Ajit.
Sure. So IoT and AI are two different domains, but as with AI, everything is connected to AI today, correct? So what happens with IoT is that you take a lot of data from sensors, and then it goes to effectively some kind of an algorithm, and that is where we are going to. So if you look at some of the areas like digital twins, we also do a lot of work in that area where we take data from anything and then we visualize it and try to simulate and predict a particular phenomena. So in that sense, IoT and AI are different, but they are also connected in that sense.
Yeah. Remember, I asked you about cyborgs as
Oh
AI.
yes, you did.
Yeah. And I think that's exactly what IoT and AI connection, it's like AI can enable some things in to make cyborg functioning more effective. I think that is all it can do, but that directly that it is a cyborg, because like Noor from Habib University wrote that it's not really a technology in that way, like you would say. So, would you like to clarify there further?
Yeah, I also prefer not to use the word cyborg. I think you
Yeah.
mentioned from Noor, because mainly because it creates a different impact of people. And then there's also people talking about humans and AI, sort of embedded chips and so on and so forth. To me, I think those are still a little bit far away. And to a certain extent, I think it's more important to look at problems which are here today. So for me, from my point of view, when IoT and AI combine, I'm talking about taking data from sensors and then visualizing it or using it for some simulation. So this is my kind of area of thinking how that works.
Yeah. There are some more. Asma is requesting to go next, and so I will have to take G's permission if he's okay. I would have preferred if Asma was the last speaker, because that is how the session flows, going from general concept of technology to development to teaching and learning, education, application, and then impact on future of work. So depending on what Chi says, there are some questions, but first we'll resolve this. Yes, Chi, are you okay to be the third speaker?
No problem. Asma can go first. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. So first we'll take how there is a University of Management and Technology. Thank you for correcting me. How do you think AI affects the world of art?
Oh,
That's
that's a very good question actually.
yeah,
I think that there is a few obvious ways. The first one is that generative AI can effectively create a lot of things, correct? So the question then is that creative, or do you need the human, or is it just going to be that? Now, all of us have probably tried to use something like DALI or Stable Diffusion or some of the generative AI things. But the real artists, when they are using generative AI, what they're doing is they're using it as a first iteration, meaning that they get something and then they improve it better and better with other things. So one of my colleagues at Oxford, Jesus Serrano, he is absolutely a genius at these things. And I think if you look at his LinkedIn posts and so on, he's got lots of awards for this as well. So my answer to the question, like with almost any other question with AI, is that AI will improve the experts, correct? So if I am not a lawyer, correct? So if I go and do something in the legal side, I don't know the output of AI, correct? I don't know whether that is right or wrong. But I know when it comes to coding, I know what AI is generating. So similarly, an artist would know something which is there from AI and then how they can improve it. So this is generally the same thought with that. So AI will help improve that.
and it's just the same with writing, I think. When you're
Yes,
writing,
indeed.
all the things that AI does are actually either spur you to do it better or can help you look at different aspects,
Yeah.
depends on how you want to use it. There's a very interesting question from American University of Refrain, Violetta, regarding AI-assisted coding. What do you think will be the importance of coding without always relying on AI all the time, particularly at the start of learning? Now, does that make
Very good question. No, very good question again. So I would say that we at Oxford are very heavily invested into this idea of using AI to learn coding, and especially for people who are not developers. Correct. So this is for us. This is a very powerful idea. Now, the second part of the question is if you're already coding, does it actually help you or hinder you? In my opinion, for everything, AI helps you if you're an expert at something, but you have to be able to be the final judge at something. Correct. So therefore you will learn coding. Some people say that, okay, what about, we are not teaching the people the fundamentals, we're not teaching them what is an if statement or a for loop or something like that. They are so completely reliant on AI doing this. But I think that most people who understand this, they are also good at understanding something. Correct. So I see the output of AI, I know what I can think about it, whether it's right or wrong, and of course I have to test it. So in my mind, it's a pedagogy which is quite interesting, and we are quite heavily investing into this. But it is still an early stage research. So there are lots of examples of how to validate what AI generates and things like that. So yeah.
You took the name of somebody who was using it as an art at Oxford. Could you please type his name in the
Yes.
chat? So,
The name is Jesus Serrano. So Jesus as in Jesus, but it is the Spanish name.
okay.
So
So if you write
Jesus.
Jesus Serrano,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
might actually turn up good response.
yeah.
Okay,
So
thank
so
you.
he is a part of my course, and again, you can see that how he creates very beautiful things which are art, advertisement, and so on and so forth. So there is a lot, I think, which will happen to media and creative industries when it comes to AI.
Yeah. There's another question saying, could you say three things for us to be able to understand AI? I think we covered a lot of that in AI literacy. That is Malik Alani. I do not know from where.
Okay, so if I have to say three things to generate understand AI, so I will say it in this way. So I'm slightly technical, but not too much. Most people don't understand. So if you think about it, like if you think about a particular phenomena, you want to understand what are the rules behind the phenomena, correct? So what is driving that? So the simplest way is that the rule is directly known to you as a formula. For example, if I'm looking at Celsius to temperature conversion, there is a one definite formula to convert those two numbers, and you will always get one answer, correct? So this is the first part. The second part is you will learn the rules from the data. And if you learn the rules from the data, then what happens is you get something called machine learning. So you have label data, which is looking at sort of if you give a particular transaction, if you say it is spam or not spam, or good or bad or something like that, you use AI to train it with all those transactions so that you try to find out what are the hidden rules behind those that data, which gets you that. And the third thing is if you want to understand both the rules and the structure from the data. In this case, what you get is called deep learning. So deep learning involves things such as automatic kind of use looking at images and things like that, where you don't say what is a cat, you give lots of pictures about a cat, but AI has to understand that a cat has got fur, whiskers, and things like that. So it is able to understand both the structure, the rules, both the structure of the data, as well as what drives the data itself. So this is the deep learning part of it, and this is so in my mind, AI is about trying to understand hidden rules for a particular phenomena. This is the best way I would say.
I think that
Cool.
explains it very well. Yeah, I
Good.
had, sorry, do you want to say something, Ajit?
No, no, I just said thank you. Yeah, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a question from somebody from Sindh. I think he's a banana grower, and he says that are there any AI tools for agriculture? Because you talked about them also, and not
Yes.
that I know of any, but I think a lot of tools, AI tools, would help in forecasting certain things, and I'm not sure. So Ajit, you would be the best person to answer that.
Sure. So we are doing a lot of work in agriculture on AI. And we started off with working with both Microsoft and the Bill Gates Foundation. And from there, we expanded it with that. So there are a number of very big challenges in agriculture when it comes to AI, and they involve a lot of changing things such as climate change, sustainability, and things like this. And farmers have to live with unpredictability, correct? So that is the challenge. The question is, how do you write an algorithm to do that? So we used quite a complicated thing. So we used a combination of sensors, drones, satellite data, and things like that to try and predict yield of particular things, and try to predict what is called microclimate, meaning that how does climate in a particular area change over a period of time. And so this is generally how we started to work with this. And I think that that's the way all these problems will be resolved, some shape or form.
Thank you so much. An excellent, expose, and gave us a bit more clarity. Would you like to leave now, or if you have time,
I
we would
think
like
so. Yes, I think so. I think that I would have to leave. And again, thank you very much for inviting me. Like I
thank
said,
you.
I had to actually come out of a particular convention. I had to work with. That I have to go back there.
Yeah.
Again, very nice to meet all of you. And please stay in
Thank you
touch.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ajit. We have
Thank you.
192 participants with us, and we're very satisfied with your
Thank you.
responses.
Thank you.
So have a
Okay.
good day. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
So our next person to go to is Asma. And why are you in a hurry, Asma? I thought we would have time with you, being the VP research of a very prestigious university, but come with lots of pressure, right?
I have to be in a meeting actually at 1 p.m. and that is a meeting called just this morning. So and I can't miss that, unfortunately. So that's why I requested to go earlier. And thank you very much, Lim, for allowing me to do so. I really do appreciate that.
Yes,
Um,
yeah, I will briefly introduce you, Asma.
Sure,
And
sure.
I will, of course, we are going to talk about the future of work. You seem to be in a hurry, so won't do the little bit of prologue and the ending to your session. Asma is a blockchain developer. Wow. And a professor of finance at the American University in Emirates. Emeritus, that was in my mind. So UAE. And you are an honorary global advisor at the Global Academy of Finance and Management in USA. Wow. You joined in 2011 at your post in UAE and have worked in the university as a faculty member and then department chair and so on. And now you are filling in for vice president of research at your campus. You have done your finance and MBA from Pakistan, very honored to know that, and a PhD from France. And you are AMBA accredited, which is the best place to get credits for business schools and School of Management. And also, you have done you have also been School of Management at Harbin Institute of Technology, China. How did you end up there?
Great. Yes, actually, my PhD is from China, and my
Okay.
my husband was actually relocated there by the Pakistan Navy,
Yeah.
and that is how I ended up being there. And then I started doing my PhD there from Harbin Institute of Technology, which is quite a good school of management, top 200 ranked, one of the top 200 ranked universities, or the C9 League in China. So I've spent quite a considerable time there, about 6 years. So yes, that is how I was there, and then I went in between for a year as an exchange student to the UK as well.
Okay, yeah, I see that in the Brunel uh, Business School with UK as a part of your PhD program. So you got the best of both worlds. I see that. And you've been, of course, undoubtedly at a lot of conferences and publications and so on. So you're going to talk about how AI is to impact the future of work and how should we as educational institutions prepare for that. Thank you, Asma.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Roxana. Once again, I'm really grateful. It's really a pleasure to be here and to be in front of a really nice audience of about 200 people. This gives me immense pleasure because, of course, I am from Pakistan. and I'm very happy to do this session today. I will be sharing my slides just about a moment, but just to share with everybody. Anybody remembers at one point of time, long ago, the first, let's say, okay, let me take it slower. So before Google, how would you search your data? Any idea, any input for that? Of course, we had Yahoo, we had Yahoo Messengers, we had MSN, we had all of that, we had Hotmail, we had all of those things. But before Google and Yahoo, what did we really have?
People went to the library, that's what they're writing.
That's true as well, absolutely, yes.
And Wikipedia, yeah.
If I go really back, yeah, people, books, I'm seeing encyclopedias, interesting, manual data, ask an expert. There used to be something called Alta Vista. So I'm not really sure if you've heard about Alta Vista. So as Alta Vista was akin to, I see some people saying yes, I think Mr. Noor, a lot of people could not, so let's put it this way, Alta Vista could not Alta Vista itself because there was no data. With the different inventions and uses, I would rather call it uses, the different use of the tools that we've had the internet, which was the internet of use. From the internet of use, we have actually gone to the internet of making something. So, you create something from this internet now. You can earn through the internet now. So the idea over here is everything initially was on data. It still is. Here, especially in Dubai, we call it the new oil. If data is the new oil. So really, if somebody wants to really understand how the evolution of things have worked, it has really worked from the internet of things or the internet of, just understand use to the internet of creating something which is of value. So internet of use to internet of value. What I'm going to share with you now here, there was something that I presented recently at an AI conference or an artificial intelligence conference in Dubai, was related to like Roxana mentioned, the difference of how it is going to impact our work, but also how it is going to impact the higher education. Now, for most of us here, I'm just going to assume, and please pardon me if I'm wrong, most of us probably in this session are from higher education or from tertiary organizations, etc. So how is that going to impact us? Now, usually when we had this kind of new thing coming up, and I heard the earlier speaker, very eminent speaker, Ajit, talking about how it is going to impact certain people jobs, right? So the idea is how we can best use it. So I think this is where the trick lies really. So let's go ahead and see what I can share with you and some kind of examples that I'm using currently at my university that I can share with you as a used case as well. So let's apply this into the higher education. There's a lot going on. There is strategic plans. People want to enhance their capabilities, etc. All of that, we understand. Every university governs around their own strategic plan and how they can move around faster, quicker, and integrate everything into their curriculum as well. Because let's be honest, at the end of the day, there is a huge kind of competition. And this competition is doing exactly this. How are we serving our students, which is our product that goes into the market? So what can we do, or what fundamental role organizations, institutions can play in the ethical use of AI? Let's see how this is being used. And of course, I'm going to share with you, I'm sure that many of us have been using this as well, maybe already, maybe we have it in our systems, etc. statistical tools, analysis, to know that what is the different quantities of data in different domains, right? And then predictive modeling. So this is really about the technical aspect of it, the diverse aspect of it, how we can integrate them into the projects. And I think that all of us, what we are facing right now is the predictive, modeling information that we receive, ChatGPT, whatever language skills we are using, inputting into that data, and then seeing how much plagiarism our students may have had. Now, that's another really one session that we can talk about the plagiarism aspect of it, because some of that is also a false positive. So what universities can do about that? Let's delve a little bit more into it. So you could have driven systems, chatbots, grading, and assessment. Now, one of the recent studies here at AUE, one of my colleagues from College of Engineering and Technology has recently done, and I just want to quote that particular study, which was related to grading and assessment. Now, everything that happens for grading here is rubric driven. You have a rubric, you have your own specific assessment. It could be a midterm, a final exam, it could be an assignment, it could be a case study, etc. And then you have a rubric to define that or to grade that. Now, when that information, of course, from the human to the computer, the results were almost the same line. So which tells me that if I am explaining to the machine what I want to explain necessarily to the students or to humans, the results have been the same. What I really want to say over here is that what has changed? Essentially, earlier, we must know coding or we must know the machine learning in order to talk to the machine. But now what is happening at Google, I had a keynote speaker yesterday from Google. What he said is going to launch from Google is that, no, I'm just going to input as a human, telling you what I really want to do as I would teach a human. And then you will interpret it through your machine learning and give me the response for that. So it is simpler. The tool is getting simpler, which is going to be launched as Gemini. The tool is getting simpler simply because the person doesn't need to have the machine learning anymore. It is the natural language, and then you input that and you get a response that you're looking forward to. So almost akin to, you can use them as your personal assistants. AI are in many countries now being touted as personal assistants that can assist you. Again, the input of data has to be from the human element. We have seen the same goes for ChatGPT, same goes for any other tool that we're talking about. Same was the case of Alta Vista that I said at the beginning. Alta Vista couldn't Alta Vista itself simply because there was no data. As long as there is data, that from all of that, bytes of data, we can get that particular response that we're looking for. Then we have virtual assistants, what I was just talking about right now, and to forecast. Now, let me give you an example of predictive analytics. I'm sure that many of you have had an idea the last, let's say, months and the last couple of weeks, the weather in the UAE and the neighboring GCC was dealt, we had very unpredictable bad weather. Now, a lot of rain, floods, which is unheard of Dubai or the UAE. This was predicted from, again, the kind of sensors that are now in the roads, the kind of sensors that are now in the smart police stations in Abu Dhabi. Ahead of time, because the climate prediction is one of their most used predictive analytics outcomes, that they presented to the people ahead of time that this is how the climate might react. So if you're going out, if you're having long routes, this is what you need to do, etc. So this is one really good live example how predictive analytics would work. So since we're talking about how AI is changing and impacting the workforce, so this is just another live example that I'm sharing with you. Cybersecurity has been there, as we know. in many different forms, whether it is forensics, whether it is for healthcare, whether it is for, anything to do with even blockchain, digital assets. So how we can detect threats, risks. Now, here in the UAE, we have something called VAR. Recently come out. It is an authority which is the Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority. Now, what this authority does is that helps you mitigate these risks, because if you need to have a digital asset, you need to go through this regulatory body. So in other words, the people who are like more than 70% of the UAE residents are so much interested in this that there is a regulatory body now to make sure that people are not getting scammed or their money is not being lost, etc. For healthcare and biotechnology, another change through AI is simply two things: your hair, strand of your hair, and your nail. You can put that, in whatever container the AI is going to go through, and it can actually give you everything, really all the statistics of your body, every kind of maybe disorder or disease that you may have or has not been predicted, that AI can give you within seconds, and then of course it goes into a report, etc., as compared to when a human doctor would, at least time-wise, the time element is going to be more. Now, does that replace the doctor? No, because at the end of the day, the doctor needs to see, analyze, check, verify, etc., because we're talking about a human body here. So there could be an element here to be used to enhance the report the doctor wants to give to the patient. We talked about the automation of labs. That's what I just talked about right now, and also can be applied if you have College of Engineering, you've got medicine college that can accelerate the whole process. The thing is that the job losses as compared to job creation, this is exactly the cost benefit analysis here. If the job creation is more than the job losses, definitely we're going in the right trend. And this is where I'm just going to give an example, which is so prevalent to Pakistan. Back in the 90s, there was something called a golden handshake. Some of you might remember that. And that was given to people who somehow became redundant because computers took over. And then, because they were then no longer required because the computers were doing their job. So the idea is how we can make use of a tool better to assist you rather than to take it away. So I think that's a food for thought over here. Self-driving vehicles, we've seen that. Linguistic translation, and I have just given you an example. Well, linguistic translation is happening right now. It happens at Zoom all the time. But another thing that I've shared with you is between the machine learning and the natural learning language that I've just shared with you that Google is about to launch in summer. And then, of course, content summarization. Just one point over here, coming as a vice president for research, I really think that it is important to give your own element into it. There is a lot of research happening, but some of research, if you've heard the news about 2 weeks ago, there's a lot of research happening where the data is not correct. So that research essentially is termed fake. And that came out from the United States. And I think that's a food for thought for really the rigorous process for journals and the rigorous process for the reviewers is very, very important. For the climate modeling, I'll give you the example of Abu Dhabi, what is happening over there. And then, of course, the ethical implications of AI. That's why I'm emphasizing on the fact that how we can use it better, how we can use it to our benefit, how we can make sure that we are growing as the technology is growing itself. I think that's important to understand. Let me give you a used case for AUE, which is my university. I've been affiliated with the university for about 13 years now, and I can tell you what is happening here. You will see processes over here, which also identifies for me the risk elements for the students. Now, There are certain risks that we have. We have 4 categories there. It could be a language risk, it could be a risk for the assessment, it could be an attendance risk, or it could be an overall academic warning risk. So the different trends immediately per student, we can automize that. And we have we have our own internal LMS that when at a click of a button, we can get all these reports handy. We don't need to do mean median mode. We don't need to do any graphs. All of that is through our LMS and then with the application of AI available. I also mentioned that when we have admissions, at the time of the admissions, we get a lot of prospective students. Then we do a kind of a predictive element there based on certain things that they have, documents that they have submitted, based on certain criteria that they fit, whether or not they're going to become AUE students or not. That's important for us to know what is going to be our annual number of students. Then it comes to the participation attendees of workshops. I think it could be applied to this workshop as well, that what has been the representation responses. And, we have a lot of different elements. We've got Padlet, we've got so many different tools that can be used to understand the sentiments of the workshop attendees, to understand the element of it. Then to do the assignment. So I just explained to you that we have already an embedded system of plagiarism, but then it has an AI system there as well. And that AI sometimes gives you false positives. So we need to make sure that we have policy around that. Some of the other things that are more core to the university are, department reports, course file reports that we do at the end of each semester, any planning that happens, any supplementary material that is there. So because the plagiarism software are part of our LMS, it automatically tells us whether this is plagiarized or not when we are uploading anything onto our portal, and also the same goes for our students as well. So I really hope that these were newly insightful for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Asma. Just to wind up, Ajit talked about how technology itself is going to progress, but then you went into how different innovations and AI additions were happening to different processes and different things, material things that are going to change how we are going to view the workforce in the future years, because those additions will demand an understanding and handling of those automated, stuff. And so it's clear it's moving at a very fast pace, very, very lightning pace. The challenge, I think, that perhaps comes through is that will we be able to change very quickly to what is required for skill development of our workforce, because we haven't been able to keep pace, especially in countries like us, with some of the technological advances so far, and our population is unable even to use common technology for benefit or welfare or for their tasks. And here is AI that's going to come and impact all the sectors of economy. And so there is going to be, like you said, definitely a change in the workforce skill requirement. And then some sort of problem is of, I think, what I see is that we are not as keenly aware, especially our leadership, be it governments, be it campuses, as to what needs to be done, because they have no clue about the future prospects. And neither, I think, the universities that are the hub of research are aware of what it requires and how to move with the pace and to keep up with all that. And so I think those are things that are troubling, and they are challenges because we are unable to predict exactly what skills and how soon. But I know one thing for sure for now, and I am sure you will agree, that human attributes like creativity, critical thinking, empathy, and so on will remain key. And so far, AI has not been able to take that over, though there is some sort of forecasting that it will. But there'll always be that, we hope, that component that makes a difference. And yet, like you said, to operate machines, AI, the human mind will have to give a prompt or direction. So the human mind will stay uppermost unless it starts becoming too dependent on AI. And if you use AI, there's a difference. I think that's what we need to understand. It's about being AI dependent or being AI assisted. And that's where the human workforce will have to learn skills. I have not seen any. There's a Malik Alani says curriculum developers, and I think that's the question just for Chi. If there are no more questions for Asma, we can. This question is for Asma. Alani, the impact for the, she says, yes. What advice, sorry, Malik Alani, what advice would you give to curriculum developers for the application and impact on AI for the future of students and universities? I think you did talk about that, but would you like to put it together?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you very much. And I'm afraid that's the only question I'll be able to take. But please do feel free to reach out to me. I'm definitely going to respond to you through email if needed, which Roxana has. The curriculum development is actually the key. You need to consistently reinvent. Now, when I mean consistently, we've done that sometimes at each semester level. It becomes chaotic, but that is exactly the need. If we are not going to be as fast or as in line with what the market needs, then when we graduate our students, they are jobless. So we are essentially not helping the society. So when we have our curriculums, and that is another thing where even the accreditation bodies need to come in, where even the Higher Education Commission of Pakistan might need to come in. Because if we have a consistent curriculum improvement with AI and professional development, I'm very, very glad to be here. Like I said, on AI, this is upskilling of faculty members as well. That is needed. That is very much needed. Here, especially in Dubai, there is an event probably every other hour. So to make sure that our students are updated with that means that we also need to be updated with that. And there is a lot of room for curriculum improvement. I can actually, even if Roxana would want at any point of time, probably talk about curriculum improvement with AI as well at probably another session. But at the moment, I do apologize and I do thank you for having me. I need to jump to another meeting, Roxana, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And I must say, again, thank you so much. You are also doing AI and research for a research methodology course, I think on June 5. And you've been very, very gracious and very, very kind. Can't thank you enough, Asma. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Bye.
And so now over to the most important topic for our area comes to the last, and I'm happy it is the last because by now we have a pretty good idea where AI is going and where the curriculum should be going and what probably changes need to be made in teaching and learning. But we are also talking about how it is impacting education as such now. And the future, we have sort of pretty good idea. And where do you think we are now in teaching and learning? And where do you think we are going to go for teaching and learning competencies and so on? So please, over to you, Chi. But I must thank you immensely. You are an associate professor, the first individual from a private university in Malaysia to be awarded the prestigious National Academic Award in 2014 by the Ministry of Education Malaysia. You are in Taylor's University. You have immense experience and you're as a director of e-learning academy and director of learning innovation of development under the Center of Future of Learning. So I really like this idea of a center of future learning. So you fit right into this role. And he have built up the profile of the University of Learning, Innovation, Creativity, and you brought Taylor's University the forefront in transformational teaching and learning. You have been in the education industry for more than 20 years and also in administration. And you have shown a very strategic level record at strategic level. Your role has been very strong. And you have also received awards, repeated awards itself at the Taylor's University for Excellence. And internationally, you have been a Higher Education Institution Award at Asia Leadership Summit in Singapore, and an Excellence in E-Learning Award and in Mumbai, and so on and so forth. I wish I could give you an award for that, helping us out in Pakistan as well, but extremely thankful to you for finding the time, and thank you for being here. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rusana, for having me here. Yeah. Um, in my 15 minutes sharing, I would like to focus on our university's experience, our journey in terms of driving the adoption of generative AI at the university level to help our academics to embrace generative AI, to increase productivity and also to improve students' learning. Before I share with you about our experience, I think this is very relevant to share with you this diagram. This diagram actually summarizes the key points mentioned by the first speaker, Ajit, and also Asma. The first speaker actually mentioned about AI will not kill our job. Yeah. Second speaker mentioned about we need to compare the job losses and also job creation because of Gen AI. So I would like to draw your attention to this diagram. On the right-hand side, the big circle actually shows us about what are the tasks that human can do without the help of AI. Yeah, it's a big circle. For example, our students attending lectures, our students studying, participating in discussions, all these things, they can do it without the use of AI. But with the use of AI, certain tasks can be automated. For example, students now are able to take quizzes online. Students are able to submit assignments online. And for lecturers, we are able to get the grading done online. For the multiple choice questions, we are able to use the plagiarism software to detect plagiarism among students. So these are all the tasks that can be done, can be automated through the use of AI. So far, we focus on these two areas, but we forget about a bigger area here. All right. The bigger area here actually highlight to us about what are the different possibilities, what are the different opportunities that we can have with the help of AI. And I think the two speakers actually mentioned about with the help of AI, students are now able to have these virtual labs. They are able to do simulation. Lecturers, we are now able to provide a more personalized learning to our students. We're able to get insights into our research findings. So all these are the different possibilities because of Gen AI. And because of this, our university actually embarked on a journey to explore different applications available, right? To help our lecturers to provide a more engaging learning experience to our students, to help our lecturers to be able to provide a more one-to-one tutoring, provide assessments, automations, to provide a more timely feedback to our students through the use of AI solution. And we started this journey way back in year 2012, 2022. All right, this way back before the creation of the ChatGPT. And we found there's one application which meets our requirements, and it is called a Noodle Factory. So Noodle Factory is actually a Gen AI powered virtual teaching assistants. Our lecturers use this to improve the productivity, to automate the delivering of the lessons, to help the lecturers to automate the marking of the formative assessments. And our students use this to provide them an one-to-one AI tutoring to provide them a more personalized feedback to them. And I'm going to share with you how it works. Yeah. This is a character in the AI solution is called Water. So Water is actually an AI tutor for the students. By creating an AI tutor, this AI tutor will be embedded into the learning management systems. So we are using a model. So every student who use a model will be able to access to this AI tutor with the help of the lecturers embedding it into their module delivery. What students need to do is they can start by selecting two options, whether they want to do a revision of a topic or they can actually attempt a quiz. And once they've selected to attempt a quiz, all the lessons will be appears on the screen. Students just need to select which topic, which lessons they would like to do the revision. And this is how it works. For the lecturers, it helps the lecturers increase the productivity because it is able to automate the assessments and quizzes with AI. What lecturers need to do is just need to upload their learning material. It could be in the form of PDF, PowerPoint slides, lecture notes, and the AI is going to use its own algorithm to help the lecturers to create a learning pathway, to help the lecturers to create assessments, and also more importantly is to help the lecturers to monitor students' progress. This is how students work with this AI tutor. Students begin the sessions by interacting with the AI tutor, and the name of the AI tutor is called Water. Then students learn through the interactive buttons. They have a visual, they have a PowerPoint slides, they have a YouTube videos for students to learn the concept. And after the students learn the concept, they'll be directed to a quiz to assess their understanding. So students will be doing the quiz based on the concept they have just learned, and they get the scores immediately. Students will get immediate feedback on their performance, and based on their performance, students will be prompted to review certain content in the areas that they are lacking in. So for example, if students are weak in an area called home insurance building, then they will be directed to relevant resources to help them to improve their understanding. And as students continue, the learning will become more personalized, more real-time to them. And since last year, 2023, we have actually embarked on a huge pilot journey with more than 2,000 students, involving 72 lecturers, to try to use this AI tutor in their module delivery. What are the feedback from students and lecturers? Number one, lecturers mentioned about with the use of Gen AI in their delivery, it helps them to reduce their burnout. It helps them to improve their productivity. Some lecturers also mentioned about this AI tutor is able to provide a very useful summaries on the subjects and also help them to become the most efficient secretary for them to answer the question of the students, and also to help them to mark their students' assessment immediately. And for the students, these are the feedback from students. All right, students love it because it helps them to understand the topic in a more interactive environment. Students love to talk to this AI tutor 24/7. And students actually mentioned about it really helped them to improve their performance, helps to reduce the students' dropout because it helps them to study, help them to be better in their learning progress, and also they help them to do the multiple attempts of the quizzes so that they are able to do revision more than just one time. And what are the key success factors when we try to use this solution? We have defined three. The first one is about the conversation. Number of conversation here meaning what are the number of times each students actually interact with the AI tutor until they get a topic or until they get understand about a difficult topic. Second part is average conversation turns, meaning how much time they actually spend in interacting with the AI tutor. And the last part is about the number of quiz they have submitted. So I'm going to share with you some data, right? And of course, it varies, depends on the disciplines, right? Certain disciplines, for example, accounting, finance, our architecture, our School of Medicine, our School of Educations, they use it more as compared to other discipline as well. And these are the average time students interact. So you can see here, average students interact about 32 times, right, with AI for each of the topic. And all this interaction is done real time without the involvement of the lecturers. Yeah. So lecturers created the quizzes and students will be able to do the online submission. They'll be able to get instant feedback and they'll be able to be directed to additional resources whenever they have difficulties in understand the difficult topic. Yeah. So what are the impact of this Gen AI to our quality educations? Number one, it helps students improve their performance. Yeah. Based on our data, there is more than 55% improvement in students' quizzes for students who actually do revision with the use of Gen AI. Second part is about students' engagement. We can see there is a huge engagement with interaction with students through this Gen AI solution. And also it helps to improve the academics productivity by saving their times because AI has already helped them to automate the tasks such as marking, such as answering simple questions asked by the students. Yeah. In terms of increased productivity, lecturers also reported about they save 3 hours time every week, all right? Because of the AI tutor is now able to help the lecturers in terms of consultation with their students, right? Lecturers also reported about they save time in terms of asking or answering FAQ of the students and also generating quizzes and as well as marking the formative assessments. Yeah, so yeah, I don't want to go into detail, but I just share with you about there are a lot of different possibilities. There are a lot of different opportunities through the use of Gen AI. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, G. I see that there was a question in the chat. There were a couple of questions actually that Asma left and was not answered. It was one was, could you please, Ekaterina Kombarova, sorry, my tongue seems to be twisted today, I think, from the American University of Central Asia in Bishkek. I think she's saying, could you provide a link to the tool that you are describing? And I think that's specifically integrated into your Moodle. But is that a standalone AI as well? Noodle Factory?
Yes, correct. Yes, Noodle Factory is a standalone solution and it is capable in integrating in various learning management systems, including Moodle or Blackboard. Yeah. I can provide the link later. Yeah.
Yeah. If you do that in the for the Noodle Factory in the chat, it will be very helpful. But I think if you do Noodle Factory on the Google thing search, it will throw it up nevertheless. But you have had it integrated into your university's Moodle service. Is that so, server?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Okay. I have also seen a standalone, which is known as Magic School, and it does a lot of tasks, something probably that you're describing Noodle Factory. I've seen that does a lot of other tasks, similar tasks for curriculum development, student engagement, and so on and so forth. There are some new messages. Great learning with presenters did not accelerate. It would not only accelerate a career path, but also adds on learners' productivity. Thanks to the team. This is a thanks from Jam Khan. G, could you please send us your email so that we could ask you questions later? Are you willing to be bothered, G?
Yes, happy to do so. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Yes, I can. Please do share my email address to them. And for the Noodle Factory, there is also a free version available, right, for trial. And but if you would like to integrate it with your university's Moodle, then it needs to be a paid version.
It will a paid version, and also it needs to be an administrative decision by the leadership. We could not do it probably into our own accounts. Noor from Habib University has put up the link of Noodle Factory. So it's right there for all. G, if you could also share your, how has Noodle Factory added or reduced responsibility of faculty members? Could you go over that again? I think you did express it, but
Yes, we see this as an investment by the faculty members when you want to use generative AI in your learning and teaching. Why I say this as an investment? Because number one is you need to invest your time to train the machine. You need to join us for the onboarding process to understand how it works. You need to also review the questions and also the solutions provided by this Gen AI to see whether it matches your learning outcomes or not. Yeah, but I would say that the return on investment is something very encouraging. Right? Once you have set up the Gen AI in your delivery, then you'll be starting to see that you have reduced your times in terms of interacting with students, in terms of answering students' routine questions, and also it helps you to do the marking and as well as direct our students to additional resources based on their performance. And this is what we always said about to provide a one-to-one personalized learning to our students. Yeah.
And I think that's what the tutor does, the AI. And now I have seen in lots of, even in your computer window, you will come up with a co-pilot that will say, whatever you're working on the document, do you want me to give you a brief of this document? Would you want key takeaways or something? So it's like, even you haven't asked for it, there are prompts, there's a proactive effort by the AI to actually help you and support you in your work. And at least for the people, I do not know how many of you are using AI for your work, but irrespective, if you are new teachers, experienced older teachers, you're an administrator, you are a student, AI is really making your job less burdensome. And it is you are making a lot of mistakes, and so is AI. So I think it's a continuous learning process. Are there any other questions in the chat? Go ahead. Would any of you, we could unmute some of you now if you wanted to say something. There is, thanks, yes, thank you. You're very welcome. I didn't see any sign up button. I do not understand. Eric from Mombasa, there is only sign in tab. How do we sign up for the Noodle Factory? I didn't see any sign up button. Oh, is that so? Gee, there should be a sign in button for a free account.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it for me so that I'm able to guide you further. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We have a question.
Yes. What do you recommend, Chi, for those students who are missing the lectures in the classrooms? Would you do you refer to Moodle for references like this? Or is there a difference in the physical lecture? I think there are two questions, Malikalani, is for students who are missing the lectures, and is there a difference in the physical lecture or on the Moodle lecture, Moodle Factory lecture? But I think if you have used Moodle, it does support your work a lot, irrespective of AI or not. So I think difference in what way would be the key point, if you could clarify. But what do you do, Chi, when students miss the lectures or something? How does the Noodle, your program, show it?
At our universities, all our lecture theatres are actually equipped with the lecture capture systems.
Okay.
So meaning if the students miss any physical lectures, they can always go back to the Moodle to review the recording. Yeah. And of course, we also encourage lecturers to also produce some bite-sized short videos, yeah, to explain the key concept of each of the topic and upload it into Moodle for students' revision purpose.
Yeah. And I think a part of this is also done in Moodle, irrespective of AI. I mean, you can put up your video recording into Moodle, and the students have the ability to go back to it unless you want to change it or remove it from that. But I am sure that it augments the capabilities of Moodle MLMS, I mean, system, whatever you're using. Roman, I think, has put up the Noodle Factory link, Eric, if you could check that up in the chat. So you will have that. Highly informative. Thanks to the management team and thanks to our, I think there are lots of thanks and people have, participants have started to leave. Anyone else with a question? We could unmute you and sort of connect with each other. Yeah. Here are some resources that will help you further. IT and AI, future, AI and future of humans. That should be very interesting. That is a Pew Research Center, not PER. AI in education, where we are and what happens next. Future of education, transforming teaching and learning, and preparing students to join the workforce. These are all very, pinpointed and focused articles that have been picked up for you. So please, and I see that Gohar, our manager, is very eager for the research methodology course to be blasted across all. And we look forward to having you again with us. And thank you for being with us. Thank you. That gave us a lot of confidence and energy to work with such a great participants and such a great audience. And many of you have become permanent fixtures in our lives because we kept you, we're seeing you again and again. And we are very, very thankful for your compliments and your kindness. But more than that, I think we are extremely thankful to our experts who took time out of their busy routines. And gee, with you, I kept on thinking that I had lost you somewhere along the way. Because you wouldn't respond to emails and I started to worry, but you were there out in time telling us, as you had said, about how you're using AI at your campus for teaching and learning. And that was a very powerful example because it showed AI in action for all of us and charting the way forward for adaptive teaching and learning. And thank you so much. And see you for our research course now. There are some, I think, 14 other comments coming. Big applause. Thank you so much. Thank you. Look forward to seeing you again in the research sessions. And G, please keep in touch with us. Don't disappear. We'd love to have you with us more often. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank
all right. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.